fact, when you really want to change your life, you revisit your goals on a daily basis. That's right. Write your goals. Look at them every single day. If you don't look at them, they're just something that you want to achieve. They become a New Year's resolution that are gone by February. When the market turns, when the economy turns, the people who make it are the ones figuring out, keep the line taut, go around the corner. So as I'm recording this podcast, it's July. It might be a little noisy, but I don't care. I got a message I want to share, and you're getting it from the airport. So here's the deal. If it's July, I want to know, how are you doing with your New Year's resolutions? How are you doing with your goals for this year? Now, I don't care when it is you're listening to this. If you end up listening in January, July, November, December, it doesn't matter. But it's time for a checkup. Because if it's the middle of the year, you can do this at any time of year, it's time to decide, what goals are you lagging on? What goals are you not fulfilling at the pace in which you wanted to achieve? What goals have you given up on? What goals have you allowed to slip and you fall back into old routines? If you want to make this year better than last year, and incremental growth is amazing, even if it's if a millimeter, it's growth, then it's time to do a few things. It's time to revisit your goals. You should be revisiting your goals on a weekly basis no matter what. In fact, when you really want to change your life, you revisit your goals on a daily basis. That's right. Write your goals. Look at them every single day. If you don't look at them, they're just something that you want to achieve. They become a New Year's resolution that are gone by February. If you want to achieve goals, you got to write them, you got to immerse yourself in them, you got to stare at them, you got to feel them, you got to manifest them, you got to visualize they already happened. Goals just don't happen. You have to work on it. But this is a great time of year, again, no matter when you listen to this, but if you're listening to it fresh and it's July for you, you're more than halfway through the year. And sometimes we write down too many goals in the beginning of the year. So now we're at a point where you got 4 or 5 goals and none of them are getting the momentum that you hope. Maybe it's your weight, maybe it's your income, maybe it's starting a new business. So here's my advice right now, today. Decide which goals you should just shut off. You know, sometimes to have a breakthrough, we have to break something. Sometimes in order to achieve, we have to quit something. We have to throw it away. So I would say, if there's a few goals on your list and some of them you're just not going to hit and it's causing all of them to be delayed, then I would literally park 2 or 3 of your goals and say, I'm going to start those in the beginning of next year. But the ones that are left, you're going to achieve. And then right now is a time to revisit the emotions. Right now is a time to look at those goals and say, how will I feel in 6 months if I achieve these? Visualize it. Don't just say, how will I feel in the future? Put yourself 6 months from right now and literally sit and feel. Is it your weight? How will you look in the mirror? How will you feel when you walk in a room? Is it finally quitting a job that's killing you? How will it feel to be a little nervous but be independent, working on your own thing? Register that URL. Make the first sale. Make the first call. Looking at your husband, your wife, and knowing you're confident. Visualize 6 months from now if those goals are achieved. How will you feel? No change happens unless there's an emotion attached to it. Nothing is memorable unless you have a feeling. I mean, think about this. I'm going to digress for a minute. Think about your childhood. Think about those moments that you remember when you were 3, 6, 9, 12. It was either the home run you hit in Little League or softball, or the day your parents got divorced. Or it was when you got accepted to the baseball team or you got cut from the baseball team. You remember those because there's a feeling, there's an emotion attached to them, and they exponentially stick. Like that's maybe not exponentially, like they exponentially grow, but they stick to you. So how do we take the goals that you desire? How do we pretend it's 6 months from now, we're looking backwards and they happen, and attach an emotion to it so it becomes a feeling, so it gets stuck to your subconscious, so it becomes your reality? That's like manifesting on steroids, right? But here's something on the other side that most people don't do. What I'd like you to also do is I'd like you to pick the goals that are left, that you're going to get done by the end of the year. Because if you're listening to me live as I'm doing these, this is more than halfway through the year. If you're pushing some off till next year, that's fine. But the ones you're going to get done, now I want you to think about it 6 months from now, and you didn't achieve those goals. And you need to feel that too. Sit in it. It's 6 months from now, and you're looking back and go, wow, another year went by. I'm still stuck in this job. Another year went by. I still didn't fix this relationship. Another year went by. I'm staying in an abusive relationship. Another year went by. I didn't spend the time to try to date and meet someone new. Another year went by. I didn't register the URL. I didn't make the phone call. I didn't dig into the course. I didn't go through the coaching. What will that emotion feel like? And let that bathe in that feeling. Bathe in feeling like another year's gone. Bathe in the fact of, wow, at this age, I thought I'd be further ahead. Because here's what I know. Some of you make moves based on a bigger future. You're moving towards something better. You're aspirational. You're inspired. You see the bigger life. You see the bigger house, the bigger business, the bigger success, the bigger significance in the world, the bigger impact in the world. You see it. It drives you. Some of you listening right now, that scares you. If that scares you, then fine. You're a move away from person. You want to move away from a job you don't like. You want to move away from a bad relationship. You want to move away from being broke. You want to move away. That's fine. Some of you are move away people. Some of you are move towards. And sometimes when you get past the move away fear, then you can be a move towards person. That's the goal. It's like move out of fear and move towards pleasure. Listen, what drives all of us in life? Fundamentally, we all boil down to we want to avoid pain and we want to go towards pleasure. So if that's you, which is everybody in the world, use whatever one it takes. So again, this is your wake-up call. If you're listening to me, like I said, live kind of the week I'm doing them, it's more than halfway through the year. What have you accomplished? What have you let slip? What habits have you fallen back into? Where have you let your life just go on autopilot? Pick the goals you need to get done. This is your action call. Put them on a new list. Put them on a list that they're going to get done and push, like I said, push some of them off. But the ones you push off, have an action plan for them starting next year. Get the ones done now. Remember, for future pace, 6 months from now, they are accomplished. Attach a feeling, attach an emotion. Cry if you have to. Get emotional. Laugh, smile, pretend you're in a situation that lights you up. But then also do the opposite side. Pretend it's 6 months from now and none of them got done. You're still in the same place. How does that feel? All I know is this. Is the last 5 years went by in a flash. How do you think the next 5 years are going to feel? And if you don't make a change now, if you don't take action now, what's going to be different in your life? This is the halfway through the year wake-up call. And remember, all success starts right here. Are you doing more of the things that can move you towards success, making more money, happiness, joy, abundance, freedom, and less of the shit that doesn't take you there? Now, that's a really obvious question. Seems pretty simple. You're like, I'm here to get millionaire success habits, Dean. That was pretty simple. Yes, but let me tell you this story, and maybe it'll all make a lot more sense. So this past weekend, I went away. You may have heard it in a previous podcast. I went away with some top influencers, people who impact the world: Russell Brunson, Lewis Howes, Trent Shelton, Brendan Burchard, Anthony Trucks, other amazing influencers. It was incredible. But we went away to Idaho to this trout farm, trout ranch, I should say, not trout farm, trout ranch. Just a stream coming off a mountain, and it goes into these little pools, and it's just an amazing place to go fish for trout. We throw them all back. So if you're worried about the fish dying, we throw them all back. Anyway, we went there to mastermind, to share our ideas. Masterminds are the greatest thing on the planet. I love them. They've changed my life more than anything, right? So we go there to enjoy each other's company, to fish, to hike, to do all these cool things and mastermind. But this one day, we're going to fish. So we branch off into teams. There's 14 of us. There's 7 or 8 fishing holes. We get in teams of 2. I was with Lewis Howes. If you don't know Lewis Howes, great guy. You should follow him. Look him up. So Lewis and I go, and we are going to go in 7 different stations for 20 minutes each. So we go to hole number 1. Hole meaning, the stream coming off the mountain, crystal clear water. The stream comes by. It's a place to fish. There might be a big pool or a little bit of a pond. And you're going to fish there for 20 minutes. And there's like 5 different types of fish in these streams. So you want to catch all different kinds, the biggest, the best fish. And we literally have sheets to mark down what fish we have. This is a true competition. It's amazing. So they blow the whistle and we start fishing. Now, what has fishing got to do with you? You'll see. So in any business, let's get away from the fishing for a minute. In any business, there's some ingredients you need. You need to be passionate about it. For sure. You need to, if you have your own company, it's not, if you hate it and you just do it for the money, it's probably not thriving. It's probably more of a pain in the ass. So if you have a company that you want to thrive, or you want to start a new company, you need a passion, you need a desire to impact the world, impact people with what it is you're offering. Secondly, you have to have goals, right? You have to decide, a desire combined with goals. Like, I want this goal because I'm passionate about it and I desire to get to this next level. And you also, I feel, you need to be a little competitive. Like, you want to win. You need that push to do better than the rest. There's so much competition out there today. You better be a little politely competitive. You don't want to brag, but you want to be competitive. Well, let me just go back to the fishing story. I have a passion for it because when I was a kid, my grandpa fly fished, which is awesome. Fly fishing is fantastic because it's an art, right? You don't just cast it out and wait for a fish. You have to figure out the softest way to land that fly that weighs nothing and stick that fish and all that kind of stuff, right? So my grandpa did it. He died when I was 10. He was such a massive influence in my life. I loved him. He was like my dad when I was a kid. So I had a passion to fly fish. I also had a desire to do good, even though I haven't really fly fished maybe once or twice in the last 30 years. I had a desire to do good to kind of impress my grandpa up in heaven. And then last thing, I'm competitive. I'm there with all world changers, badasses. I want to win. It was a competition. Me and my buddy Lewis Howes are going to go against 7 other teams. I want to win. So I have the ingredients. Like, that's how I feel in my businesses. I have a passion to change your life. If you're watching or listening right now, I have a passion changer. I desire to make an impact on the world. And I'm competitive. I want to do as good, if not better, than the people in my space. So I had all those ingredients, but this was fishing. So why am I sharing this? Here's what I want you to think about. The playing field was completely even. We all were using the same exact fly rods. We were all using the same exact flies, the bait on the end of the hook. We were all fishing in the same exact streams. So everything was equal. Now, the buzzer goes off, hole 1, we're fishing, nothing. We really don't catch anything. I think I got 1 fish or 1 bite. And in certain areas, you could see the fish in this amazing stream coming off the mountain. Picture crystal clear water, probably 45 degrees. The water's freezing, and there's amazing trout. Trout are gorgeous fish. Some of them rainbows and brook trout. They're just gorgeous. Nothing's biting. So I don't hear many fish getting caught. And then we go to the next hole. Maybe 1 fish. The next hole, maybe 2 fish. And it's the same. Everybody's throwing in, not catching. So in business or in anything in life, the difference is I wanted to win. I had a passion. I had a desire. I was competitive. So I start observing what's working and what's not. Here's what I realized. As I'm going through these different holes, these 7 different places to fish, I realized that if you walked up to certain areas, the water is so clear, you could see 6 foot down like it's nothing. Trout are really smart. When you walk up, if I could see the fish, they'd take off. So they were seeing me when I was coming up. So I realized if I hid or didn't walk right up to the stream when the sun beaming on me with casting a shadow, I'd have more luck. So as I'm going, I realized that with fly fishing, you got this fly, they don't just come, trout are really smart, they don't just come grab the fly, they kind of see if it's real. They kind of just like put it in their mouth and spit it out quick. If you leave slack in the water, when they go to bite it, if you don't stick the hook, you miss them. So I realized, oh, here's another thing. I got to get rid of all the slack in the line. I'm watching all the other guys with line. They go to pull it and they really just pull the slack out, but they don't stick the hook in the fish. Remember the fish, not 1 fish was damaged during this contest. We had some great pictures, but no fish was damaged. So I realized that. I also realized that in a busy stream, so this water's coming down through the mountain, right? I realized that if there's a rock or a log in the stream and the water goes around it, when it goes around, you ever see a little pool around the backside of a rock in a stream? Well, that's where the flies and the food for the trout go. So I realized if I let a fly flow down the stream, just like a real fly would, and it goes around this rock and lands in that spot, immediately, boom, a fish will hit it. I also realized going through the 5th hole, 6th hole, I also realized that the fish are most apt to hit a fly as soon as it lands on the water. It's like it lands, it's the spontaneous, irrational buyer type fish, like, oh, fly, boom, and they hit it immediately. And if you're not ready to stick them, you miss it. So as I'm going, just like in your business, just in your life, just like in relationships, here's what I know. Lewis, badass, competitive as hell. We went and shot skeet afterwards. He beat everybody. I mean, the guy's amazing. But he really didn't have a desire to fish. He wasn't that excited about it. He didn't have a goal like I did. I had the passion. Lewis, fishing right next to me every single hole, was doing the same thing. Cast it out, reel it in, hope to catch a fish. I was learning. I was figuring out what worked, what didn't work. Walking up to the stream, didn't work. Leaving slack in the line, didn't work. Casting out in the middle of the lake, didn't work. How to find the rocks, how to find fast-moving currents. So I'm learning and growing and throwing away the stuff that doesn't work, and I'm doing more of the stuff that does work. In the last hole, we are on hole 7. Up to that point, no one had caught more than 1 fish in that area. Lewis, standing close to me, caught 1 fish just like everybody else. By the time I got to hole 7, I caught 12 trout in that one area. One was one of the biggest trout of my life. It's 23-inch long rainbow. It was heavy to hold. It was so big. And I caught that by sneaking up to this one section of the stream on my hands and knees. I saw downstream this rock with a big current with a whirlpool on the other side of it. I let out the line. I kept it really taut with no slack. I let the line go around the rock. As soon as it went around the rock, I felt a little tug and I pulled it and I caught a 23-inch rainbow like this thick, unbelievable. So what was different? The trout were the same. The water was the same. The flies were the same. The line was the same. The poles were the same. All overachievers. The difference was I had a passion and I was observing what worked and I did more of it. And I observed what didn't and did less of it. So let me ask you, in your business, are you like Lewis, who really didn't care and he's just hoping to catch fish like a lot of the other guys that weren't that passionate about it? Or are you like me, where you're learning, growing, changing, and evolving? When the market turns, when the economy turns, the people who make it are the ones figuring out, keep the line taut, go around the corner. Think of this fish analogy for the rest of your life. In your relationships, are you figuring out what is working and doing more of it and learning on the fly, and figuring out what's not working anymore and doing less of it? A lot of times we don't. If your relationship is stale, that's what you're doing. Same with your income. Same with your business or the business you want to start. Do you want to be the guy that just goes and throws a line and go, there's no fish in here? Listen, if I would have just not learned anything and caught 3 fish for the day, I would have been like, they were kind of biting. I thought this place was amazing. I caught 26 fish. I had the time of my life. It was unbelievable. Everybody else, here's what I'll leave you with. Everybody else was fishing. And because I was learning on the job, I was catching. Do you want to be the person that just fishes and do what everybody else does? Or do you want to be the person that catches? Figure out what's working, do more of it, be observant, be an active participant in your own success, and do less of the things that don't work. If you like today's podcast, then you're going to love being a part of my texting community. What's that mean? You could text me right now at 480-400-9019, or it should be below right here, and it comes directly to my phone. It doesn't go to my team, it comes to me. I've been absolutely loving the interaction. I send out some cool things. About once a week, I text nothing but things to get your week going, to get your mind thinking. And when we have new videos and things like that, I always text my community first. It has absolutely been a blast, and I'd love for you to do it right now. Text me, 480-400-9019. Do it. Text me. What's up? What's up? Hey, before you go, you need to watch these next few videos. They're absolute game changers. Hurry up and click right over here and watch them, and I'll see you there.